Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Pride of the Poconos podcast. I am your host, Zach Sterniolo, joined as always by Shawn and making his triumphant return to the Pocono podcast, Mike Coons. Welcome back.
You missed me. I feel the love.
Well, I'll tell you what, on your little hiatus from the office, you ended up beating Shawn and I both. You went 7-3 2 weeks ago.
As it should be.
Of course, and Shawn and I went 6-4 that week. This week, you and I did pretty well, but Shawn still managed to do just one game better.
He is not a Giants fan.
No, he is not. No. Shawn is still looking for that.
That's a shame. Oh, he was so close.
I've never been so happy to see the Giants lose because I knew it cost him his perfect week once again. He's still looking for it. Shawn, you went 9-1. You almost had it. Giants end up pulling off the upset 23-10 over the Broncos this week. Put you at 9-1, 61-19 overall. You still got a 3-game lead over Mike, but you're not too fond of New York right now, are you?
More of the Broncos, to be honest. That was at least the 5th time that I've gone into the final game, like 9-0, and that team loses. So I'm pretty much cursed with 10-0, so I'm fine with 9-1. Just going to build off that.
I just, for as many times as he's been that close to getting the champion or to getting 10-0, he's still the back-to-back champion. He's won it every time he's participated. So I don't know. Do you think he'll sacrifice a championship this year for a perfect week yet, Mike?
I don't know what he's going to sacrifice, but I don't care. He's going down this week.
I think he sacrificed Aaron Rodgers at least.
Poor Aaron Rodgers. Look at you. Now you made him cry. That's so mean.
I'm sorry.
You had to bring that up?
It was too soon. I'm sorry.
I think Shawn sent flowers.
All right, so let's recap last week's picks. Coming off our little break, Mike and I both went 8-2. Everyone, we all basically took the same picks last week up until the last 2 NFL games. We all had Stroudsburg beating ACC. They made it a little bit of a nail-biter there. They won 28-24. Pleasant Valley won over East Stroudsburg North. East Stroudsburg South won 73-19 over Allen. Parkland beat Pocono East 49-0. Pocono West beat Dira 48-39.
Good win for the Panthers.
Yeah, no question. I mean, Dira probably had a lot of momentum coming in off that win against Pleasant Valley the week prior. The Panthers definitely capitalized there.
Classic second half Pocono West rally. They do it. It seems like they do it every year. Why do we should expect it? This is like, the wintertime snowstorm, in March, where they come up, it's October. Here come the Panthers. They're going to win. I don't care if they play Penn State. Just keep picking the Panthers.
College football last week, Kutztown took down ESU 41-9. The Warriors just not having a good season at all. Ohio State beat Nebraska 56-14, one of the only college football games last week that actually went the way it should have. Patriots took down the Jets 24-17. That one a little bit controversial on that no touchdown call. I don't know. That was
the poor Jets. Come on.
I know,
I'm like channeling my inner Dennis Green right now. We had him right where we wanted him, and we let him off the hook.
That's kind of how I felt with the Chiefs heading into last week. Chiefs ended up falling to the Steelers, which, Shawn, you picked it. You picked the Steelers taking down the Chiefs. Chiefs no longer undefeated. Why? How?
I did take the Steelers. They've given the Chiefs some problems over the years. They beat them in the playoffs, and they blew them out last year during the regular season. Everyone was counting out Roethlisberger last week, and the Steelers' offense did get dicey there at the end, but they held off the Chiefs for that win.
And then, of course, the Giants and Broncos game to wrap up the week last week. All three of us naturally took the Broncos because why on earth would the Giants have won that game? But here we are, the Giants won, and there goes Shawn's perfect week.
Yeah, ridiculous.
All right, so let's move on to this week. We got some pretty competitive games here this week. Let's start with interconference game between Stroudsburg and Whitehall. Stroudsburg coming off of that EPC North championship last week, winning that game over ACC. Whitehall, tough as anything. Shawn, we'll start with you. Who do you have?
Going with Whitehall at home. Stroudsburg has had trouble the season a little bit starting the game in the first half. They've fell behind teams a little bit, but usually they come in the second half and have a great half. But with Whitehall, I think if that happens, that'll be trouble for the Mounties. So that if they don't start that game off quickly, I see the Whitehall taking that one.
Mike, who have you got in this one?
Yeah, Whitehall's going to win this game. I think the big sign for Stroudsburg is, are they going to be effective controlling the line of scrimmage? When you look at the EPC South in general, very physical conference. This is a physical team. They lost. Stroudsburg lost 31-0 to Easton. I want to see them. I want to see how much they've improved from the beginning of the year. And if it's another blowout, I have concerns for them for the postseason.
They started the year with a 31-0 shutout loss to Easton. Their only other game against an EPC South opponent this season. Against another one this week in Whitehall, I don't have high expectations for Stroudsburg here. I'm picking Whitehall as well. I was impressed with Stroudsburg's running game last week. Kyrie Grant, 23 carries for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Sherwin Stewart added 84 yards. Trevor Hines added another 51 and a touchdown. That was a great performance, and the Mounties defense has been strong all year, but you look at the quality of teams they're playing, and that's not to discredit anyone of their opponents or what Stroudsburg has done this season, but against a team like Whitehall, which I think quality-wise is just at a higher level at this point. I don't think that Whitehall is going to be susceptible to anything that the Mounties bring this Friday night. So let's move on to our next game. We've got the Old Oaken Bucket game. We've got Pocono Mountain East on the road at Pleasant Valley. Pocono East coming off a 49-0 loss to Parkland last week. Pleasant Valley coming off a 34-14 win over East Stroudsburg North. Shawn, we'll start with you here as a Pocono East grad. Who have you got in the Old Oaken Bucket game?
It's a dangerous pick here, but it's been a very long time for Pocono Mountain. Come Friday night, I think the Cardinals are going to take the bucket back to Swiftwater.
He's done it. He picked the Cardinals to win the bucket. Go ahead. Why?
It's a tough pick. I think PV, very good game last week. But I got to go with East. I think the game lays on Andrew's running game there. And it's hard to take the Cardinals because they haven't won in so long. But I think they got some things going for them with their offense and their defense making some stops. So it could be a good game, but I'm going with Pocono Mountain East.
I think it's coming down to the fourth quarter. I think this is a fourth quarter game. I think you hit on a lot of good points there. There's a reason why you're 9-1. I'm taking Pocono East too. I'm taking Pocono East. I think that Praise Andrews and the running game can keep PV's offense off the field. I think that is the key to this game right here. If Pocono East can move the sticks, running the football, not ask too much of the quarterback. The receiver, Hillman's healthy again. I think even though Pleasant Valley has Beck back and healthy, which is a huge plug for their offense, it's obvious that the quarterback McHugh, is that how you say his name?
Yep, Aiden McHugh
has done a nice job in relief. Obviously, Mikey Brown gets the job done, through the air. I think, though, if I'm from a standpoint as a fan, I'm watching, can Pocono Mountain East offensive line make some seams for Andrews to run the football? And if that happens, I think for the first time in this, PV's won 8 in a row. 8 in a row.
A ton.
That's a lot of heartbreak
and a lot of buckets
and a lot of yeah. It's been, and this is going back. What was about 2013 when Pleasant Valley blocked an extra point in a 14-13 game. Probably one of the best high school football games we've seen in Swiftwater, which was a great game. But I think Pocono Mountain is got everything in line to win this game. Shawn, you're right on.
I can't disagree with anything either of you guys are saying. I picked the Cardinals here as well because really I don't trust the Bears enough at this point. They had Deeruff in their grasp a couple weeks ago and probably should have won that game, and a lot of second half mistakes killed them. To your point, Mike, Brent Beck coming back is a huge addition. He caught He made 7 catches last week against North for 174 yards and a touchdown. Michael Brown had 4 catches for 107 yards and another touchdown. McHugh threw for 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. McHugh has done an incredible job, especially as a sophomore. I think that was his 3rd start of his career. I think he's done phenomenal. But at this point, I've seen more convincing performances from Pocono Mountain East, especially compared to what I expected coming into the season. I think Rob Milosky has done a great job game planning this season, even putting up 42 points against ACC 2 weeks ago. So as of right now, I'm trusting the Cardinals, but I do agree that this is going to be a really competitive game. Let's move on to our next one. We've got Deeriff on the road at East Stroudsburg South. Deeriff, again, coming off a 48-39 loss to Pocono West. South coming off of a 73-19 win over William Allen. Just shellacked the Canaries there. Shawn, who have you got in this one?
Going with South here. Obviously, their offense put in a lot of work last week.
No kidding.
But Deeriff gave up a ton of yardage last week against West, rushing and passing. So I see the Cavaliers having success as well this week at home.
Shawn, you've got South. Mike, you've got?
I've got the Cavaliers too. I think they're going to finish the year on a 4-game win streak, and I think they're going to make the postseason in some way, shape, or form. They got 2 in the bucket now. I think they take this game, and then I think they beat North next week. And after a year that started off, a little bit sluggish for them, I think they found their feet. I think they've discovered who they are, if you will. I love their 2 running backs that they have. I don't think there's any reason why they can't win this game.
I'm going South here as well. Agree with everything you said there. I think you summed it up perfectly. I think their running game has been phenomenal. I think their defense is strong enough to contain what weapons Deeriff has. To your point about the playoffs, we know they're going to be playing Week 11 in the District 11 5A semifinal. Don't know against who at this point, but I'm pretty sure Southern Lehigh or Whitehall, one or the other. I think finishing this season with the schedule they have, they've only got North coming up next week after this game against Deeriff. Gives them a little bit of momentum. Let's see what they can do with it. Obviously, they need to get through Friday night first, but I've definitely got the Cavaliers taking down Deeriff. Let's move on to East Stroudsburg North and Pocono West. The Panthers hosting the Timberwolves here. Shawn, we'll start with you again here. What have you got?
West is going to make it 5 in a row here. I think they'll beat the Timberwolves. Della Valley, big game last week. 282 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Their wide receiver, Edwards, had a big game as well. So I think they'll have another big game at home. So I got to go with the Panthers.
I'm going West here as well. I've been really impressed with what the Panthers have done these last few weeks offensively. And I don't see, at this point, anything from East Stroudsburg North to make me question how prepared Pocono West is going to be. I can see this as maybe a trap game, but I don't. At the same time, I just don't see North putting up any kind of significant points on this Panthers squad.
Jim McCarroll won't allow this team to sleep on this week. I think he's too much of a veteran coach. It's easy to look ahead to the last week, week 10 with Pocono East, but I think they'll take care of the business here and they'll win probably 4 or 5 touchdowns. Yep.
I wouldn't doubt that. Let's move on to Division II college football. We've got Bloomsburg on the road at East Stroudsburg University. Mike, we'll start with you here. Who have you got taking this one?
Yeah, ESU's really struggling. They're in a bad spot offensively. They're having a hard time scoring points. So you got to think that Bloomsburg's going to take this game. I'm not really sure how ESU can control this game offensively and keep Bloomsburg's offense off the field. I think that's going to be an issue. The Huskies in this one.
Who have you got, Shawn?
Yeah, good year for Anderson for ESU, but pretty tough year for the Warriors. I got to go with Bloomsburg here. And a quick shout out to the Millersville Marauders. We didn't get to discuss that game. A nice shutout victory over ESU 2 weeks ago. 2 straight wins for them. 3 on the year. So they're looking up. So
Mike, rebuttal as the ESU grad?
No comment.
And Mike pleads the fifth. All right, good. I'm going Bloomsburg here as well. They've had some really nice production in their secondary, thanks in part to true freshman Jordan Villafane from Stroudsburg grad. He's done a really nice job out there, made a couple nice plays recently that really saved the game for Bloomsburg. And again, to your point, Mike, the ESU offense is struggling. I don't see them fixing those woes this week against a solid PSAC opponent here. So I am taking Bloomsburg as well. Division I, we've got Michigan on the road at Penn State. A really nice matchup here, Mike.
It's a big concern. Probably Penn State's toughest game of the year. I know that they got tested when they went to Iowa. For some reason, Penn State has a hard time with Michigan. They did last year, and obviously that was one of their couple losses that they suffered. I think Penn State wins this game because I think they're just a year matured from last year's experience, if you will. They won't obviously look past Michigan. There's nothing to look past here. But prime time in Happy Valley. Listen, this is a game that they got to win if they want to win a national championship. If they want to win a Big Ten championship, let's start there. But if they want to make it to the Final Four playoff and play for a national championship, this is a must-win game.
I agree 100%. I've got Penn State here as well. The biggest reason that swayed me away from Michigan this week was looking back to, I'm pretty sure it was last week, Michigan State took down Michigan. I know Michigan State, their defense has done a really nice job this year, and they kept pace with Michigan there. Penn State has been pretty solid in all facets this year. I know they had that scare against Iowa. Michigan is going to put up a huge fight. Harbaugh always brings prepared teams. I don't think that they're going to come into this one any differently, maybe a little hungrier, just for the sake of the fact that they know what Penn State has on the line and what Michigan itself has on the line here. But I'm still sticking with the Nittany Lions at home. Shawn?
Yeah, Michigan has struggled this year mostly because of their offense. They almost lost a couple times in the beginning of the year to pretty bad teams too, and their quarterback went down with a back injury. They do have an elite defense though, so anything can happen in that matchup. But I got to go with Penn State because their offense is better, and don't sleep on their defense as well.
Absolutely, and their offense in general is just more reliable, I think, at this point. Let's move on to another college football game here. We've got USC on the road at Notre Dame. This should be a great matchup. Shawn, we'll start with you here.
Going with USC, they have a couple big wins against good teams. It's at Notre Dame, so a little edge there to the Notre Dame, but I don't think their schedule was as tough as USC, but I got to go with USC.
Mike, who have you got in this matchup?
Notre Dame only, Notre Dame lost early in the season. I forget if it was week 1 or week 2. Remind me, they lose to Georgia by a point or two.
Sounds right.
I think that was an early loss, and I think they also get their quarterback back this week, who missed some time. I think Notre Dame. It's at Notre Dame, yep. It's at Notre Dame? Yeah, I like Notre Dame at home. I'm going with the Irish.
All right.
Come on. Shawn, we got to knock him off.
You got to do something different, right?
Come on, I'm rolling the dice. It's the Irish.
Listen, I think USC has kind of returned to what we expect from USC football.
Come on, take the Trojans. Go ahead. Come on.
I can't do it.
What?
I can't do it. I'm sticking with USC.
Oh! I said take the Trojans. Are you sticking with? He's sticking with USC. He said it right.
Yes, I'm sticking with USC.
Yes, got him right where I want him now. Look at him. Look at him like fish in a barrel.
I know. Let me just reel that one back. Jeez, it's been a long day, folks. I'm sticking with the Trojans. USC. I can't. I just don't see the Irish pulling it off. I think the Trojans program has just been so solid this season, and really off the heels of last season, they've continued to build momentum, and I don't see them losing any here against Notre Dame.
Come on. Going down.
You're on your own.
Good.
Let's move on to the NFL. We got a Super Bowl rematch here. Falcons, Patriots. Mike?
Oh man. I can't figure out either one of these teams. Atlanta looks
I can't figure out this league this year.
Average. The Patriots are losing by 2 touchdowns to the Jets at one point in that game before they decided to wake up and play. You know what? Who do I trust more? Tom Brady Rob Gronkowski. I kind of like Bill Belichick. He's got a pretty good record.
He's all right, I guess.
You know,
except against the Giants. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
That's all I've got to hang on to at this point. We're 1-5. I gotta have something.
David Tyree, thank you. Where are you now?
Yeah, him and Manningham. They're neither one of them with the team.
Doesn't matter. They won.
Anyway, back to the Falcons and Patriots.
I'm going with the Pats.
Sean.
Yeah, it's a night game at Foxborough. That's a pretty tough matchup for the Falcons. Patriots have the best home record since 2002, since Gillette Stadium opened. So I got to go with the home team here, New England.
I'm going out on a limb. I'm taking the Falcons.
I love when he does this.
I'm taking the Falcons here because I trust their offense a little bit more right now, which sounds insane because I'm going against Tom Brady and Gronkowski and Bill Belichick and all that.
Well, Matt Ryan, the Boston College boy, goes home, so he's going to have his cheering section.
Absolutely.
His mommy and his daddy will be there, and there'll be 60,000 other people ready to watch him.
No, but I think the Falcons are going to go into this game with a chip on their shoulder. They had the Patriots exactly where they wanted them back at the Super Bowl, and
let them off the hook. It's a great line.
It is.
I just picture Dennis Green in my head every time.
I can't get enough of it.
Where's the podium? Slap it.
But in all seriousness, I think the Falcons are a little bit more reliable at this point because the Patriots have been really inconsistent. Their defense has allowed a lot more points, I think, than anyone has anticipated. And to your point, they were trailing to the Jets of all teams. I think the Patriots can definitely do something and come out with the win here. There's no question. You can't rely on anything this year in the NFL. But that's why I'm taking with the Falcons because anything can happen here.
If they were at home in their, 3-quarter dome or whatever it is now that they play in, I would agree with you. But because they're outdoors and like Shawn said, yes, Shawn the expert, you know, they have the best record since 2002 at home. And, you know, where does he come up with these statistics? You know,
the interwebs.
He's so stinking smart. I hate this.
I know.
No wonder he's like 202-2. My winning percentage is only 96% this year. I'm having an off year.
That's my problem. I don't research enough for any of this stuff. It's nice that I have stats to read off of for the high school stuff. I don't look at anything for the college and NFL games. I'm pulling it. Never mind. So let's move on to our next game. We've got the Seahawks at the Giants. Mike, who have you got?
One word. Seattle.
Simple enough.
I don't trust New York as far as I could throw them. I think I'm going to throw last week out. I don't know what happened in Denver, but it's Seattle.
Listen, as much as I want to pull off some sort of I don't know, the Seahawks are going to win this. The Giants had no business winning last week. Darkwa all of a sudden decided, yeah, sure, I can run a little bit and put up 117 yards. Not against Seattle. I just don't see this happening at all. Sean?
Yeah, Seattle. Their defense is pretty for real. Pass rushes were great. The Giants are going to have a lot of young receivers on the field against their secondary. They're going to be running the wrong routes. Eli's going to be throwing it all over the place.
A lot of Manning face this weekend.
Yeah, I'm thinking 4 interceptions, and we're going to see Geno in this game. So
wow! Oh my God! All right, hold on a second. We were fine up until we got the Geno Smith. My God, 4 interceptions. Fine, you're probably right. Oh my God!
I love when he pulls this stuff out because you know what? You watch. Geno Smith is going to play this game.
Stop. I can't take this. I can take 1 in 6. Geno?
Well, if it gets bad, I mean, Eli could put on a sad face. Eli could go into crumple zone, you know, if they got Flowers playing left tackle and the next thing you know, Eli just becomes because they've broke him in half.
I know, and the other thing is, even if he does get a ball off and as an attempted pass or whatever, who's he got to throw to? You got Beckham out, you got Marshall out, you got Shepard out, you got Dwayne Harris out. You know who doesn't matter usually? Dwayne Harris. You know who matters when the other 3 are out? Dwayne Harris.
It makes me laugh.
We've got nothing.
I love when he bashes his own team.
that's why I still can't fathom how they scored 23 points last week and beat Denver. It just blows my mind. It's not happening again this week. And if it takes me bashing them like this to win, even if it's just for my own mentality, I'll take it. Redskins, Eagles. Mike, your Skins are on the road.
I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. We've got Philadelphia. I'm a Redskins fan. We've got Philadelphia right where we want them. Remember what I said a couple of weeks ago. You're not as good as you think you are when you're winning, and you're not as bad as you think you are when you're losing, right? Philly thinks they've won the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, everywhere you go, if Eagles, they're great, fantastic. You watch. Washington's going to come in, and they're going to spoil the day. I don't know how. But once a year, Washington pulls off a win like this, and where you go, oh, who was that team? They looked pretty good. This is the week. It's just a hunch. If they come out and lay an egg, well, then send me an email. But I think Washington wins with the new kicker.
The new kicker's going to make the difference?
I don't know. We've got a new kicker.
All right. It's something. It's something.
Somebody I never heard of. I don't even remember the guy's name. I think he was selling cars down by the dock somewhere.
Listen, I'm still sticking with the Eagles, but that's a damn convincing argument.
Come on.
I know. I can't do it. With as strong as the Eagles offense looks right now, I know it falls into your plot like perfectly.
Everything's going great. It's like snow on Christmas Day. Oh, look at the jingle bells and everything's outside. You know what? You know what happens on that day? Your old drunk uncle shows up and he's like, I'm here. Well, guess what? The drunk uncle's name is Kirk Cousins and he's coming to town.
That's beautiful. That might be the best analogy you've used on this podcast yet. More than the offense, I trust Philly's defense at this point. I think Jim Schwartz has done just a phenomenal job, and they've looked a lot tougher than I anticipated coming into this season. And I just don't see Cousins doing enough with his weapons this week to pull it off. But that's probably exactly why he's going to. Shawn?
Yeah, the Eagles have looked really good this year, but I got to agree with Mike here and take the Skins. The Eagles already beat the Redskins this year, so I think more than likely teams will split in division. So I think the Eagles secondary can be exposed a little by Chris Thompson coming out of the backfield for the Redskins. If Cousins is on, throwing it all over the place, that should be good for them. So I got to go with the Redskins. It's a Monday night game, so it could be a tight one too.
I don't think I have ever... I don't know. This whole podcast has broken me because, like, a couple weeks ago I chose the Cowboys over but didn't choose my Giants. Now I'm not picking the Giants and I'm picking the Eagles. This sucks.
Shawn's very smart, by the way.
I know he is. I know.
What's his season record?
His season record is 61-19. He still hasn't broken 20 losses.
What's the winning percentage on 61-19? I'm not a math major.
Me neither.
Oh, you got it there, don't you?
Nope. I have it written down the record and what he went last week. I didn't get a winning percentage.
61-19. That's what?
He's got a 76.3 winning percentage.
That's very, very good.
I know.
Very, very good. You took that to Vegas, man. You could double down and you could do all right there.
Well, you're not doing too bad either here. You got a.
I'm not Shawn.
72.5%.
No.
I know.
Shawn's way ahead.
I know he is.
He's way ahead. Give him the crown. We said that in week 3. I know. Here we are, 5 weeks later. Guess who's still leading? The quiet guy in the corner. Oh, just me. I went 9-1 last week.
It's every year.
Every year.
That's all we've got for today's episode. Be sure to tune in next week for another edition of our football picks with the three of us clowns. To find all of our links, you can find us on Twitter at Pocono Podcast. This podcast can be found on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Please be sure to like, subscribe, or comment wherever and however you're listening because we want to hear from you, our listeners, and see what you have to say. And if you subscribe, you'll never miss any of our newest episodes. This podcast has been brought to you by PoconoRecord.com/contests. Last year, we gave away over $20,000 in prizes, so be sure to visit often to see what we're giving away next. Again, that is PoconoRecord.com/contests. That's all we've got for today. Thanks for listening, and until next time, take care.